Hello everybody, I'm Nora Burrows. Darlene Michaud, who is a fellow YouTube creator, quilt maker extraordinaire, she came out with her block of the month, block 3, and we're gonna work on that today. So the first block was a cat, the second one was a heart, and then this one is a house, and all of the blocks are kind of surrounded by these squares and rectangles. So I am very excited about the fabrics particularly that I picked for this house. I think they're gonna be super cool. I hope I'm correct about that. Let's take a look at the fabrics and then jump right into the block. I will say that to get all of the measurements for this block and the other blocks, you need to go check out Darlene Michaud's video. Michaud is M-I-C-H-A-U-D. She's quite the character. You'll love the videos. But watch her video, watch my video. Let's make this block number 3 a block of the month. For my house, I have this awesome log cabin fabric. Won't this be perfect? Then I'm going to use this for the roof, which is kind of an interesting choice. I kind of was looking for more of a geometric for the roof, but I just think this kind of goes nicely. I don't know. Then for the window, I'll do this bright yellow. The door will be this blue polka dot. I think this is an Adidas sitar fabric, and then my background will be this cloudy blue. Then for the squares and rectangles that go around this block, I just chose some blacks and grays that I think will go nicely. We'll have to see. So let's start with the house. We're gonna do the roof first. Here I have my roof and my background squares, 2 background squares. I drew a diagonal line on each one. I'll sew this one from corner to corner, cut off the back and then flip this open. And then I'll do the same with the other side, and then actually it will be like this. There's the roof. Now we'll do the window. I've cut out my pieces here of the house, and the one thing that I'm doing is I'm cutting around these circular pieces. As much as I really like these circle pieces, because there's so many bits to this house block, I feel like these getting cut up aren't gonna read house-like. So I've kind of fussy cut around those. I'll add the sides on first, and then I'll add the top and bottom to make the window unit. My window unit is done. I really like it. I think I was off a little bit. This middle strip is a little bit wider than the top and bottom, but I think that'll be fine. I'll just make a nice straight cut when I attach it to the next unit. Let's do the door next. Now I am gonna tell you the size measurements for my door and the top, the house part of the top, because I changed it a little bit from Darlene's measurements. Darlene had mentioned when she made this block that she wished she'd made the door a little bit smaller. And I agree with her. So my door here is 2 inches by 2.5, 2 by 2.5. And then this house piece up here is 2 inches by 1.5. So I'm gonna put these 3 pieces together. I'll attach these 2 first, right sides together, 1/4 inch, and iron. And then I will attach this piece, right sides together, 1/4 inch, and open up. I have my door unit here. I'm going to trim and make sure these are very straight, and then I'll put them right sides together, so 1/4 inch, and then I will attach the roof unit to the house unit and iron. This house is really adorable. If I were to design this house because of the log cabin look, I probably would have made kind of a flatter roof, but I didn't really feel like, redesigning this whole thing. So I think it's fine. I need to add on my background sides. I'm gonna tell you how large these are because they're different than Darlene's. I made mine 2 inches wide, and then I kind of just measured based on how wide the block is. I'll sew it on and then I'll trim them down. So this is a little bit bigger than it needs to be, but I like to do that because it'll make it, I can square it up really easily. In addition, I'm also gonna sew this is a 1.5 inch strip. I'm gonna sew that to the top here. And I'm doing this because my other blocks had a pretty thin border along the outside. And so if I want to keep this border to thin, like the other ones, I need to add some extra fabric. My house block is looking good. I picked out this fabric here to do a border around the house. Now I've used this fabric in a previous block. I used it in this cat block here, so we'll have a little theme and variation going on. That's why I put all of the fabrics that I have used into this bin, and that way I can kind of pull those fabrics out as the quilt develops. I'm going to cut my border strips. This is also different from Darlene's. I'm going to cut my border strips to be 1 inch. They'll finish at 1/2 inch to go around the entire block. I've cut out my squares and rectangles to go around this middle block. None of them are sewn together. They're just cut out. The borders for this piece are sewn on, and I think that came out just fantastic. This block I really love. Really excited about that one. So I'm going to start sewing some of these pieces together and then sewing, those pieces to the body of the house. I should also mention that I had initially said that I was going to use this fabric, which I do think this fabric is pretty cool. I was going to use that, but I replaced it with this blue fabric. When I kind of was auditioning this, it was just all a little bit too bland. It needed kind of a pop of something, and I felt with so much blue in the center here that the blue would work better. But I'll save this and use it in another block. Here is the finished block. I love it. There's something really folk-like about the 3 blocks that we've done so far, and I'm just really digging that. I think it's really cool. This fabric here, which I used over there, really makes this block for me. I'm not usually one for like grapevines and things, but this tan and black kind of with these other colors, really great. Now, somebody asked me in the comments about, where I get a lot of my fabric, and most of these are secondhand. They're from yard sales and hand-me-downs from other quilt makers who have either, passed or stopped quilting. And that's something that I really, I actually prefer those fabrics. This one is an exception. This blue one is a fabric from a recent fabric line. Same with this yellow window here. But besides that, all of these fabrics I think are, relatively old-ish. Probably not super old, but, maybe from like the 80s and 90s. In addition to Darlene giving you the measurements for each one of the pieces for the block, she also shows you the order in which to construct the block. Specifically, this border is a little bit, you need to know what order to put the pieces together to make it fit together like a puzzle. So check her video out. She'll show you how to do that. Let's take a look at this block next to the other 3 blocks that we've made in previous videos. And before I show you those 3 blocks together, I just wanted to show you that these are all of the fabrics that we've used in the 3 blocks that we've made so far. So like I mentioned, I keep these all together in that bin and can kind of pull from them as I feel appropriate. But I think they go really nicely together, and some of them, are a little bit more modern and some of them are more traditional and such. But I think that this is going to be a great piece. Here are the 3 blocks together. So cool. So I need to decide what I'm going to do about sashing, if anything. So here I have them just pushed right up against each other with no sashing at all, which in its own way I think is really cool. And when you get all, it's going to be 12 blocks, 1 per month, so 12 months in a year. So it'll be 12 blocks. And I think once they all are made and kind of laid out together, having them right up against each other is pretty spectacular. And then I could do just some really funky border around the whole thing. But it would also be nice to give them a little bit of breathing room. Let's see how that looks. So here I've separated them a little bit, and you can kind of get the sense of what it would be like with the sashing, and that could be cool too. I could do some sort of stripe with some cornerstones in each one, or you can do a star doing a sashing with a square and then some flying geese around it. So I could do something like that, or just flat sashing around the whole thing. In the comments, let me know what you think, what you would do. Thank you so much for joining me. Check out Darlene Misha's video. Don't forget to subscribe to me and her. I will see you next time. Bye.